Just because we are in the waning hours of January does not mean that we do not have drama. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Liverpool Latest. I appreciate you being here with me today. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed what you saw. Comment down below with your thoughts, most importantly. And of course, subscribe to never miss an upload so that you can watch videos like this virtually every single day. I'm still reeling from the win. It's been like 5 minutes removed since Liverpool beat Newcastle, so excuse me if I'm a little bit hyper. But I do have something important to get to before I touch on the Newcastle win. And that is Curtis Jones. There has been a lot of talk about Curtis Jones lately, and it seems as though there was some news going around yesterday, before the match, of course, that there seemed to have been some interest from Inter Milan about having him transferred over there. And for a second, Liverpool social media and some of the bigger accounts went all up in a frenzy, sparking outrage about how could they do this to someone who loves their childhood club. How could they do this to Klopp's legacy and building what he tried to build with Liverpool? How can Slot and the powers that be allow this to happen? So on and so forth. From what I understand, it seems like Fabrizio Romano was the first person to talk about this, and then Paul Joyce came in shortly thereafter and said Liverpool are not going to sanction any, in his words, Liverpool will not sanction the departure of any senior players before the transfer window closes after Inter Milan showed interest in the loan move for Curtis Jones. So I'm not going to lie, I'm not really sure where I want to go with this. Because on one hand, it's good that we are basically saying we're not moving anybody this month. Even though there have been talks about moving some players like Andy Robertson, Curtis Jones was another one that was discussed with the Tottenham situation a week or so ago. But it seems like, and the commentators during the Peacock broadcast, during the Newcastle game, kind of touched on this, that he's been the subject of a lot of controversy and a lot of what many seem to call it discontent. And I frankly don't blame him. I think some of the reports are a little bit overblown. I think that there are people that are trying to make this more about the anti-Slot rhetoric than it is about the actual player. I want to be of the opinion that I still don't know if Curtis Jones is going to stay at the end of the season, going into the summer. I've talked about this before. As a matter of fact, Curtis Jones has been growing on me quite a bit this season. He's performed exceptionally well. Losing him, in my opinion, as of right now, without any idea of a replacement, seems to be a huge loss. And there could be many more losses because of Slot and what he's doing with the club. And I don't know. It's kind of hard to say right now. I'm just glad that Curtis Jones is here to stay for the time being. I'm glad that Paul Joyce made this clear. Seems like Fabrizio Romano was a bit of a shill for the Italian media, trying to get him to go to Inter, or at least pushing that narrative. As of right now, nothing's going to happen, but at the same time, nothing's going to happen with us signing anybody as we await, the last 24 to 36 hours of the January transfer window, which I'll probably touch on when the day that it ends. But all in all, I'm just glad that for now that situation seems to be put to bed. A lot of people are going to spread the anti-Slot rhetoric in regards to this. I could have, but frankly, I see this more as a win for us that we keep him right now. But I do think that come the summer, we might lose a lot of players depending on where the club wants to side as far as management or players go. And I'm not saying that any player is bigger than the club, but we might lose a lot of talent because of a decision. And that's what I worry about the most. Man, oh man, what a game this was. What a game this was at home. Our first Premier League win of 2026. It has been 1 full month since we have won a Premier League game in 2026. It took us that long, but god damn it, what a glorious win this was. I'll be honest, I was skeptical going into this match. I knew that we had a great win against Karabag. I didn't know if that win was going to transfer any way, shape, and form into this one. At first, I thought this match was going to be quite shaky. And for the first 30 minutes or so, it was. 36 minutes in, Anthony Gordon scored a goal in what was a very lackluster performance leading up to that point. That first half was pretty abysmal to go through. It was an absolute slog. And then, just a handful of minutes later, Ugo Ekitike scores not one, but two beautiful goals. One of them was assisted by Verts, and that was beautiful in the 41st and 43rd minute. Come to the second half of the match, we're still coming up with more opportunities. Cody Gakpo had a couple of opportunities. Mo Salah had a couple of opportunities, one of which I think he squandered a little bit, to be honest with you. Even Ekitike could have scored a hat trick and didn't. And I can only imagine how the crowd at Anfield would have reacted had Ekitike scored that, what I could have thought was a very, very easy goal. But for some reason, it just didn't go through, or it didn't hit the way that he had wanted to. And the finish wasn't what we were expecting, but nonetheless, he would go off the field with those two goals in the first half. And last but certainly not least, Konate scores not only his first Premier League goal of the season, but an absolute, almost like a little dribbler going into the back end of the net. And the crowd and the reaction online was priceless. I, for one, shed a tear or two. There was a tear shed when Ibu scored that goal, and you could tell the emotion on his face told the entire story of what he's been going through the last several months, either with his dad, the ongoing contract situation, the criticism that he has received. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll get to this in the next section, but there is conversation for Konate to be man of the match for today. Ekitike is probably close in there as well. So is Verts. Hell, even Szoboszlai can probably get thrown into that conversation because he was put in at right back today and did a phenomenal job to replace Frimpong, who is currently injured. I'm at a loss for words as to the performance, especially the second half performance that we had. But I'm going to go into a little bit of statistics if you would be so kind as to indulge me. 17 shots on goal for Liverpool to Newcastle's 9. Shots on target, 7-2 in favor of Liverpool. More possession with 54% to 46. About 60 plus more passes with 380 to 316. Accuracy was about very slim, very slim advantage to Liverpool. We had more fouls, which I'm not going to lie, the referee for this match was a little bit suspect. I think the fact that he did not give Byrne that red card towards the end of the match with that hit on Gakpo on the outside, that was very much a yellow card worthy foul. And the fact that did not result in his second yellow card and red card, in my opinion, was bullshit. But ref ball was certainly going crazy today with some of the fouls that were called on both sides of the pitch. And Ice, for one, was getting frustrated because it seems like the referee was trying to take control of the game and in a way that didn't necessarily allow for players to play and let the games breathe. So that was a bit of a shame. Speaking of yellow cards, we only had one to Newcastle's 3. And we had less offsides for once, which was quite a shock, considering that we have accumulated quite a bit of those. But somehow, some way, we were able to block 11 corners, set piece corners from Newcastle, and I'm quite frankly surprised, but I'm also pleasantly surprised with that statistic. So as of now, we sit in 5th place still with 39 points. Arsenal themselves had a dominating win at 53. I believe Man City plays tomorrow, so we'll have to see what happens there and see if City moves up a little bit. I'm actually kind of conflicted for next week's match against City, because on one hand I want Liverpool to win. On the other hand, I need City to win so that they could beat Arsenal, because it seems like right now we're not going to get remotely anywhere close to them. So, do I go with the club or do I go with logic and hate? So, we'll have to see where we end up next week as I discuss that match. But all in all, we're a point above United, who now sits at 6th. I'm not sure if they played yet today, so or if they played at all tomorrow. We'll have to see what happens there. My men of the match. Again, I believe if I was to rank my men of the match, I think Szoboszlai has to be 4th. I think he did really good at right back. He had a lot of great balls sent in for opportunities. I think he had a lot of great runs. But I think his impact on the game was a little bit lesser compared to some of the others. I think Wirtz has to be 3rd in some capacity, because not only did he get the assist for Ekitike for the first goal he had a goal himself, which was huge, frankly, in that second half. So you can make the argument that these top 3 could be all interchangeable for their importance on the team, especially the top 2. I'm kind of stuck between Konate, who had an absolutely fantastic defensive showing. This is probably the most solid I've seen him all season, despite the personal tragedy he suffered. He locked in. He locked the fuck in, bro. I am impressed as anybody. I had doubts for good reason, and it was no hate towards him in those doubts at all. I wouldn't have expected him to play as well as he did, but he played exceptionally well today. And Ekitike with those 2 goals and a lot of other chances on top of that were. You can make the conversation that either one of those 2 guys could be man of the match. I would like to see where the fans vote, and I'd like to see what the official Liverpool account says. I would not be shocked if it's Ekitike, but I would also be not shocked if if I see Ibu's picture on that man of the match as well. So, but if it was up to me, Ekitike and Ibu are kind of neck and neck, so I can't really pick between the 2. I'll let you guys fight it out in the comments, respectfully, of course, with who you think should be man of the match. The last thing I want to touch on is something that the Peacock broadcasters discussed, which I think is important. And they made the point that fans of Liverpool should be excited about today's game going forward. This was a very good performance from us. Despite the rough first half, the overall game was very impressive compared to what we usually have had in the Premier League this season. The thing now, though, is can we keep it consistent? Both sides of the field, which is very seldom for us, were great today. Now, can we keep that up on a consistent basis? With some of the injuries we have suffered, I'm not so sure, but my point is that I agree with the commentators in saying that consistency is key and something that we need to continue to build off of as far as momentum goes as well. And it's going to be a very difficult process because there's still a lot of games left and a lot of season left, but we have potential to probably make top 4 if we keep up the run that we are on right now, and especially with the performances we have had. Now, not every game is going to be Karabag, or not every game is going to be Newcastle. There's going to be some, discrepancies in there as well, depending on who we face. For instance, City next week could be a very brutal loss like we had earlier in the season. But as long as we are consistent on both sides of the ball, I feel like we might be able to squeak something out. And so my whole discussion here is as long as we are consistent throughout from now until the end of the season, there is argument to be made that we can not only get top four, but arguably make it to the finals of the Champions League or even the FA Cup. And I would be happy with any of those, any three of those. Honestly, I would like all four to happen, but realistically, I'm sure one of them is bound to happen. My only hope is which one, and which one will come first. So that's all I have to say for Liverpool Latest today. Thank you so much for indulging me in this very positive video. I haven't made one of those in a long time, it feels like. So thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Comment everything that you feel down below. And subscribe to never miss an upload. Because remember, when you're part of the Liverpool Latest family, you, my friend, will never walk alone. Great win today, boys. Up the Reds.